deserve to be haunted.
Okay.
I did nothing wrong.
Okay.
What's up, story lovers? Welcome to Our Only Thing, the only show where we break down our favorite stories and pick the one thing that we would change about them. I'm Pablo Gallaga, and my friend over there is Grace Estel.
Hey, everyone.
This week, we're covering The Bear, which just wrapped its third season, and I finally got Grace to watch it. What did you think, Grace?
I loved it. One of my concerns was I don't really have a lot of experience with the restaurant industry. I do have friends that work in it, but I don't have friends that work in some of the major upper echelon restaurants. I remember you specifically telling me that I would still relate to it. And there's actually a lot of similarities between corporate America, which you and I have been in for decades. And obviously it's very character driven. And that's really what the show is about.
It's one of those shows where I think it brings you into kind of like the inner circle of what an industry is. And you may not know anything about the restaurant industry, culinary world, but it holds your hand. It teaches you the terminology and the jargon.
10, 20, 30, 40, so forth. Stagger the reservation about 15 minutes so we do not stack the kitchen.
And it makes you feel like now you get it and you get why people love, fine dining and all of that.
The pacing is so excellent in this show that it truly creates that binge effect where you don't even realize the next episode is starting. You just want to make sure it starts.
Dear the Bear, you proved that it's not always true that you should get out of the kitchen if it's too hot.
Stop! Everything! Fire everything right fucking now!
Okay, I'll fire everything now.
Who knew dramatized culinary chaos could outmatch cooking reality TV? You introduced the world to Iowa Debris, for my dollar, the funniest woman in America, and made us all say behind, corner, and yes, chef. The talent of this show is an embarrassment of riches. When you can relegate John Mulaney, John Cena, and Jillian Jacobs to bit parts, you know you're doing something right. I've tried watching shows about cooking before without success. Many people died. You taught me what apple cider gastrique is.
Apple cider gastrique!
That's my freaking boy right there!
All right, let's go.
And you got me on that reduction. You seem to only be getting better, like a 7-course prefix dinner and appropriate wine pairings. When I'm watching you, every second counts. Thank you. I love you. Can I get a yes, chef?
Jeff.
Chef.
Dear the Bear, I rarely get terrified when I watch horror flicks or shows. I'm immune to jump scares, and I celebrate most gore. Then I watched The Fishes episode. When I wasn't clutching my pillow to my chest, I peered through my fingers to witness Donna's descent into hysteria. Then when Mikey challenged Lee with forks,
Don't throw forks at people!
I practically curled up into the fetal position. I was so horrified by this fight that I totally forgot that Donna had left the table. When she plowed through the front door, I don't remember what happened because I became a frozen block of ice. Thank you for making me realize that I am a human who's capable of being haunted.
What is haunting?
It means I'll remember he took your SD cards without permission, and someday when he least expects it, I'll do something weird.
I'd ask you if you're good, but the truth is, you're not. You're fucking amazing. Let it rip.
I'm going to admit that this is the first time on this show that I've struggled to come up with a thing. I'm feeling like I'm nitpicking in this instance here.
Same.
So, bear that in mind. I'm going to go with the needle drops. Some of the music choices, especially in the third season, start to feel a little bit either too on the nose or like they're really just kind of, for a particular audience, which is strange because I think in some instances, especially in the first season, some of the needle drops are transcendent and just amazing. I think back to the Sufjan Stevens, Chicago.
Some roads lead from Chicago. This is Sufjan Stevens.
And then in the finale of season 1, you get that Radiohead drop of Let Down, discovering all the money in the cans.
Cousin!
Yo!
Help!
It's a moment where, if you remember, the episode closes with us seeing Mikey smile. Like,
Yeah.
it's just
That
he's
incredible
glancing-
tearjerker.
yeah, he's glancing back at Carmi. He just gives him a grin and the episode goes to black. And it's right with that Radiohead song over it. And it's this cathartic moment of, you know, the whole season is so full of yelling and screaming.
Now get the fuck off my expo chef now!
Finally, something good has happened and it carries you, it lifts you up, and it's going to carry you into the next season. But then you get to season 3 and it's a lot of like Pinkerton era Weezer. There's a joke that I've seen as I was researching this that, you know, you take a drink every time there's a Wilco song, every time they use New Noise by Refused is used so much. I think the music started to take me out in the later episodes.
Do you feel like it's crowd pleaser territory versus story driven?
I think they know who their audience is. And, you know, that kind of gets into some touchy territory about, you know, is this a mostly white male audience? Maybe it is. I don't know. I watch it. You watch it. We love this show. In some instances, it makes sense, right? To do that.
Okay, guys, we're gonna refire.
That's why I'm nitpicking here. Like, I'm admitting that it's a nitpick, but something's definitely a little bit off with the choices in season 3. Whereas they know what they're doing when they pick music most of the time.
Just like you, this show is so good that I had to pick some asshole nitpick to get this to work. But there is one thing that really bothered me at the end of season 2 and the finale. And that is the way that Carmi and Claire broke up. Now, I want to be incredibly clear. I'm not upset that they broke up. And that's for 2 reasons. 1, Carmi needs to work on himself. He is not in a place where he should be getting into a relationship. This man is broken. But the second thing is, if you are into someone and that someone gives you a wrong phone number
773-555
on purpose, slowly giving you a wrong phone number on purpose,
09
02.
maybe that someone is not the right person for you.
Red flag.
Like, red flag's not even big enough, okay? It's like Red Empire State Building size, okay? Like, that is how epic that flag is. My point of bringing that up is that they've been doomed from the beginning, but the actual way that it happened is what I choose to have a beef with. So if we think about that scene at the end, Carmi he's been stuck in there for a lot of the episode and he's having this complete breakdown. And so he's venting to Tina. Tina is assuring him, like, I'm always here for you. She's talking at a normal volume where he can hear her through the door. When Sid comes and pulls Tina away, she very softly says, "What's that?" Then, of course, Carmi doesn't hear that. Okay. I can forgive that. Here's where it gets very hairy for me. Meanwhile, Claire is talking to the Fack brothers.
Is this a good time to go back and see him?
No, probably not.
Yeah, probably not.
Probably the one good piece of advice that these two have given throughout the entire series. And you see Claire's face. She's like, that's my man. I'm going back there. Like, I don't care how bad it is. So she goes back there. And of course, all of a sudden, Carmi starts complaining about her. He was not complaining about her at all when Tina was at the door. He did drop one thing where he was like, I was taking on too much. So he is referring to the relationship, but it is so convenient that Tina has to walk away. And now Carmi is just going on and on about how he should not be in this relationship and how it's dragging him down. It's taking away from his purpose of being this extremely renowned chef. And then the next thing you know, when they reveal Claire is on the other side of the door, she very softly says,
I'm really sorry you feel that way, Carm.
Now, why did Carmi hear that, but he didn't hear Tina? You could literally have Claire marching back there and Tina's like, hey, Claire, this probably isn't the best moment, right? Like trying to stop her, and Carmi would clearly hear that. What would be amazing is if Carmi hears that and he continues to talk trash about Claire, because maybe hearing that is triggering it. It's like you have caused all these problems for me, Claire, and now I hear you're back here. So now I'm just going to go off about it.
There's an opportunity for an actual confrontation here.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it is Tina bumps into her on the way out of the kitchen and lets her know, hey, Carmi's having a fit. And this is all about, him feeling like stressed out and like he's dropped the ball and he might take it out on you. And that's the moment of realization for Claire to be like, oh, there's a problem here that I didn't even see and I didn't know. And we're going to go talk about this. And then it becomes a blowout argument with her getting to see the real Carmi for the first time, which I don't think she's ever seen him the way that Sid has seen him when he is, get the fuck off my expo. Like, I don't think she's ever seen that side of him.
Right.
And it's the opportunity for her to see it and realize what she's getting herself into. And they can have it out, which they desperately need to without Claire even realizing that they do. I like mess. I don't know if you know that about me. I think you know that about me.
I do.
I like mess. And there's just something so dramatic about him telling her about herself without him realizing he's doing so. And with her hearing basically like in a clandestine way where she wouldn't have gotten the truth otherwise. And that's in Carmi's character. Carmi is non-confrontational unless it has to do with the kitchen, right? Like in life, he's not going to be the person that gets in your face. He's kind of meek, right? When you see him outside of that setting. And that was kind of, why he pursued the greatness in the kitchen, because he had nothing otherwise.
Yeah.
And that's in his nature, in his character. So him giving the wrong phone number to Claire is non-confrontational, right? In a way where he doesn't have to outright say, I don't have time for this right now. I have other priorities. I have another purpose. And this is just going to distract me and be a problem. And the whole relationship is him going with it, just going with the flow and allowing himself for once to go with that flow.
You hit it on the head. I do want a confrontation and I want it to be meaningful. Now, going to the fact that you like messes, so do I, but I like well-written messes. And this show is so well-written. The Fishes episode is the biggest hot mess. One of the biggest hot messes that I've seen in quite a while. And so to me, it just felt so lazy where characters come in at the right exact moment to be heartbroken. It just felt too cliche for this show. Now, getting to your last point about how meek he is, I agree with you. Now, I will say the exception is that he was so broken in that moment that all of that meekness went away. He was just a mean guy.
I am the best because I didn't have any of this fucking bullshit.
To see him actually hit what feels like rock bottom at that point, I suspect there's going to be a real rock bottom that's not this. But knowing that as far as the narrative had gone at that point, it felt like he would push past all that meekness.
Well, those are our things for the bear. Let us know what your things are on social and in the comments.
And remember,
Let her rip.